Dylan Parentis joining me on the Rob Carson radio show podcast. Although this is your show as well, my friend. Welcome. How you doing, my brother?
I am doing very well after some audio issues finally got resolved. It's been a pain to try to get these audio issues resolved, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going on. It showed that my audio was recording.
I see you
and
now.
then
You
it
look
stopped
good.
recording.
You look good, by the way. Where'd you get that Hawaiian shirt? Holy hell.
This is actually my grandpa's old shirt.
Really?
And he gave me a bunch of Hawaiian shirts. So I figured it's summer. You know, the weather's
right.
nice. Just throw on some Hawaiian shirts. You know, why not?
Very good. Very good. How's things on your end, my brother? What's going on with you?
They're going pretty well. Just got the show going. Got the Too Savage for Democrats going again on YouTube. You can check that out at Too Savage for Democrats.
I do.
So we've gotten that. I know you've been on the show a couple of times. We've got Dylan's Daily Show going pretty well.
Yeah, man.
A lot going on, but mostly what's been going on is the stuff in the news, which has been crazy. But how's your podcast been going? I know you reached episode 100, which was like a huge landmark.
Yeah.
How is that going? Like, how are you doing on the podcast? Everything going well?
Well, we are doing, I do a podcast, Dylan, and you know as well as I do. And by the way, you're a younger dude than I am. You've been an inspiration to me as far as building an audience when it comes to podcasting. You've got to get noticed, dude. There are 300,000 podcasters out there, right? And we all have to kind of cut through just what's going on out there. So things have been growing dramatically. I did add iTunes. So I'm on iTunes right now, getting ready to launch on iHeartRadio. And so, you know what it is, and I've always said this, it's about connection is as important as content. And what I'm doing is beginning to connect with folks. You know, Dylan, as well as I do. That's important.
Yeah.
So we're adding things to it. We're adding platforms for it as well. So, every day it's a struggle, brother. You know what I'm talking about. Every day you get up and you go, okay, who's listening? Who's doing? Yeah. And you go, all right, I'm going to do this regardless. And then it's going to build. And the cool thing, Dylan, is I have a couple of new sponsors. I have grassmonsterskc.com. They're really terrific. I've also got another a chiropractor who's a part of my podcast. It is fountainoflifechiro.com, Dr. Alex Nelson, and he has actually fixed my neck. Oh, my God in heaven. You wouldn't even believe it. So I'm adding sponsors, which is kind of freaking out my local, the people who used to advertise with me on the air at KCMO Talk Radio. The people who work there are like going, oh, wow, he's getting advertisers. Holy crap. So things are growing dramatically. Things are growing very well. As far as your end, my brother, what's going on? Because you are the master. You are the master.
Well, hopefully, because I maybe I'm losing my touch with this whole audio thing that's going on. But so I don't know. I've just been doing a lot of podcasting. I've gotten on a lot of Facebook pages.
Yeah, man.
Because those are really booming. The Instagram page is at 164,000 now, which is pretty cool.
Dude, this is because of all of the selfies you're doing in front of the bathroom mirror naked.
Yo, exactly. Yeah, no, I just you just get there. I figured out.
I'm 50 years old, so it doesn't work for me.
It's all about the angles, right? You got to get the angles looking good. If you get the angles good, it floods with the followers. So that's what it's all about there.
Yes.
But yeah, it's the bathroom selfies. And then I really think it's just everything that's been going on. I think people are looking for more conservative outlets, especially with all of the liberal crap that's going on. Like recently, the Kathy Griffin incident. We've got all of these terrorist attacks, and people are looking for conservative outlets so they can kind of feel like there's some sense in the world still, because it really feels like there's none.
Did you hear her yesterday?
Kathy Griffin.
And I believe that Kathy Griffin hired Gloria Allred's daughter after being a complete douche and going on and apologizing and whatever. Can I share the audio?
Let's listen to that.
This is Kathy Griffin yesterday with her attorney. This is just unreal. Hold on. Here it is. Hold on.
Okay.
All right. Give me a second here. Okay. I don't know why it's playing. It's on my Gmail. So let me see if I can get to this of her playing. Wow. All right. I don't know why this is playing. Let me figure it out there, dude. But she basically went on yesterday and claimed victimhood.
No, yeah, it's the typical liberal response. right? You go out there and you do something completely outrageous and stupid, and then when you start getting backlash for it, you play the victim. And that's exactly what is this the clip where she's saying that Trump ruined her
Here
life?
it is. Here it is. Here it is.
I think I'm going to be honest, he broke me. He broke me. He broke. And then I was like, no, this isn't right.
This is spectacular.
It's just not right.
Oh.
And I apologize because that was the right thing to do and I meant it. And then
it's not right.
I saw the tide turning and I saw what they were doing. And I went, oh, okay, they're trying to spin this and they're making it about Barron. And obviously that was never my intent. I would never want to hurt anyone, much less a child. But I started to see what was really happening. And then it was a mob mentality pile-on.
That's what happens when you're an idiot. That's what happens when you post a picture holding the president's head bleeding. Mob mentality pile-on is probably going to happen at that point. I mean, what the fuck was she thinking was going to happen?
I don't know. But
who was she talking to that said that it'd be a great idea to hold the president's head bleeding for a photo shoot? And then and the worst part of it was, it would have been comedy if she was like smiling. She would have looked like American Psycho. But she was sitting there like she was mentally insane.
Dylan. It was the only thing that she could do at this point, which is to claim victimhood. Yeah. I mean, it's a genius move. It's disgusting. Don't get me wrong. But it was the only thing she could do because everybody realized what a complete and utter asshole she's been.
Well, she's not even gaining any support from the victim. There's 5 liberals that come out like, oh my God, maybe we should feel bad. But most of the people objectively think that this is a bad thing that she did.
Oh, God.
It's just terrible. I mean, I don't know who she was talking to. She wants attention. Yes. See, here's my thing with comedy. As I was thinking about this, you can, I mean, there is a line, right? And comedians are supposed to be able to push that line, cross that line without making it offensive. If she were to say something about that, it would have been different. You can't stand there and show the president's head beheaded while you're holding him. That's just wrong. If she had made a joke about that, that would have been different. I mean, you can make a joke in comedy and play it off, but eventually that line of saying, oh, it's a joke, it's gone too far. You can't say that. And that's especially the case when you're
Dylan,
holding the president's head.
You've known me. I started writing for Rush Limbaugh in 1990. I'm a political satirist. That's what I do. This was bullshit. This was stupid bullshit. What she did was not funny. It was not. And listen, I made fun of both sides of the political equation. I made fun of Newt Gingrich. But largely I lean conservative. This was just bullshit on her part. And now she's claiming victim, which I just find absolutely hilarious. Now,
let's step back for a second.
Yeah.
I hate to use this argument because it's like everybody uses it, but what do you think would have happened if someone had done this with Obama? I mean, what the hell do you think if someone was holding? First of all, the first thing would have been KKK racism all over the place. The person would have been arrested.
Of course.
Yeah.
You could not hold Barack Obama's head. You could not say anything about Barack Obama. You were a young guy when Barack Obama ran for president. You were, I think, 13 years old when he originally ran for president. You couldn't even say his middle name, dude. You could not say Hussein. Yeah. You could not say it, dude. You know.
Oh, I know. It's just, and the thing, what made it even worse is that she worked for CNN.
Yeah.
Like, this is the Clinton News Network, the communist news network, who tries to be this unbiased thing. Their employees are going out holding heads of the president of the United States. Like, what do you think that shows to the American people? Already don't trust the media. Yeah. They think they're just complete hacks, which they are.
Yeah.
I mean, Fox News is turning into it. I mean, you see O'Reilly saying that, I'm done with network. I'm sticking with podcasting. He's moving to podcasting now.
Yeah, man.
You just see all of these things. And when this happens, it's just going to make the people trust the media even less.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if we'll move on to something else here because Bill Maher used the N-word, right? And you know what, Dylan, I am a conservative, but I am defending Bill Maher. He used the N-word the other day. And I'm so goddamn, pardon my French, I'm so goddamn tired of the N-word ruining the career for some people. You can say the N-word if you're a rapper. You can say the N-word if you're whatever. Now, Bill Maher the other day, and I don't like the guy. I don't like the son of a bitch. I think, he's okay.
He's good when it comes in terms of liberals. I think he's one of the better liberals.
I don't mind his stuff. It's okay.
Yeah, but he's funny. His shows, he at least will have conservatives on the show and hear them out.
But for him, he used the N-word the other day. He was talking about being in a house, and I'll just go ahead and say it because we're podcasting, house nigga. All right?
Yeah.
I don't use the word because I know as a white guy, I can ruin my career. Dylan, you're a young guy. If I use the word nigger, I will lose my job. I will lose it.
That clip is going to get cut up, and it's just going to be you saying that in a loop.
No, they won't.
And
because
you're going to
nobody
be like,
listens to me. But honestly, if you use the word, depending on who you are, your career is over. I am going to defend Bill Maher. Here is Bill Maher using the N-word, and I defend him 100%.
This is a constructive project, right? I'm not trying to beat up millennials, but there's something weird in human history if you can't tell 10 and 15 and 20 and 25-year-olds apart, because that's new, right? I mean,
yeah, right.
Adolescence is a gift.
Halloween used to be a kid thing.
It's not anymore?
Not out here. No, adults dress up for Halloween. They don't do that in Nebraska?
Thank you.
It's frowned upon. Yeah, we don't do that quite as much. But
wow, I got to get to Nebraska more.
You're welcome. We'd love to have you work in the fields with us.
Work in the field?
That's part of that.
Here you go.
Senator. I'm a house nigga. No, it's...
Whoa. Did you hear what he just said?
It's clearly a joke, though. Like, my whole thing on that is this is the left being... And I really don't like the Republicans that are coming out and using this as an argument. Like, see, leftists are the racist ones. They're the ones. It's like, he said house nigga. He didn't throw a hard R onto the back of it.
No.
See, comedy is all about presentation.
Damn.
It's all about how you say something or how you do something. He didn't come out there and say, I am a house, and drop the hard R on there.
I
hate house, He didn't say that.
Dude, I'm just so goddamn sick of this shit, dude. I am just effing tired of it. I am tired of people being able to use that word or whatever. You cannot say fried chicken, watermelon. You cannot say collard greens. There was a school a month or two ago. They decided to do Black History Month, and they wanted to celebrate food that black people like. Okay?
Yeah.
And when you talk about soul food, you go to a soul food restaurant. There's a restaurant in Columbia, Missouri I used to go to. It's a soul food restaurant. It is a restaurant that is designed for black people. What's on the menu? Collard greens, fried chicken, mac cheese. But you can't put that on a menu at a school menu because you are a racist. But if you go to a restaurant, if you go to what the hell was it? There was a famous singer, Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight had a chain of restaurants. You know what they served? They served fried chicken and waffles. Now, if I'm a white man and I say, welcome to my restaurant, we're celebrating Black History Month, and we're going to serve waffles and fried chicken, then you are a racist. But Gladys Knight's restaurant, you could serve that all day long. It's so effing stupid.
Well, it's not even that. It's to the point where...
Stupid.
I mean, I don't know if you heard about the college student, the Asian guy who went to the cafeteria, and he got... His toast was a little brown.
Oh, yes, I heard this.
And he said that they burnt his toast so that... because he was Asian. It's like, can you do anything right as a white person? Like,
No.
I really want to know. I want to know if I can do anything right.
Oh.
I feel like the liberals are treating me like I'm a husband that can do nothing right in life. Like, I honestly want to know, what have I done that's right? Was white people fighting to end the Civil War or to end slavery, fighting in the Civil War, was that not enough? The hundreds of thousands of white people dying in that, was ending Jim Crow not enough? I mean, obviously we've made mistakes in the past, but I think that we have come a long way since then.
Dylan,
we've come so far.
You haven't.
Fucking burnt toast is not racism.
You're
okay?
21 years old. You haven't done anything.
No, I haven't. You haven't done anything either.
I'm 51
you
years
have not
old.
done anything. Neither of us have done anything. Neither of us have relatives even close to us that have done anything.
No, I have never discriminated against a kid. I don't give a shit if you're black, white, yellow. I don't care if your hair's curly. My son is the same way. That's the thing that really pisses me off, dude. My son's going off to college in a year, and I worry because there are these cultural Nazis on campus that are immediately willing to condemn my son because he's a white kid for some sort of race. It's just shit. And the problem is, dude, in this kind of originated with the Black Lives Matter movement. It did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've got the Black Lives Matter movement, which was nothing more than an excuse to eliminate bad behavior by blacks. And sorry, call me a racist. I don't give a shit. Right now, the murder rate in the black community 10 times the normal rate. You've got Michael Brown. He attacked a police officer. It's merely a distraction to get past the fact that 70% of children in the black community are aborted before they're born. 10 times the rate of murder, black on black violence, and all this shit. It's only meant to distract from that shit, dude. It's only meant for that. That's what it's all about, Dylan.
Well, I think that, okay, so here's the thing. I think that black people realize these issues in the communities, but I think that the left and the big government coons, I don't want to say coons, that's a wrong context.
That's a really good
word. The big government.
That's a bad word. That'll get you in trouble. Yeah,
the big government hacks. Okay,
Thank you.
The big government hacks have convinced the African American community that because it's because of Republicans. That's why. It's because of these evil Republicans. It's because of Donald Trump. It's because of the white man. And you need to just attack them vigorously. So these people think that the only way to fix these problems is by throwing bricks through glass windows, beating cops, because they've been fooled into believing that that's the problem. And the left is doing that so they can secure their votes, which is the worst part about the whole thing.
Yeah, it is shameful because the Democrat Party is using the same playbook that they did 40 years ago. That's not going to work with my son, and it's not going to work with you, Dylan. You're 21 years old. My son is 17. My son's not a racist. He never has ever been racist. These things are going to die.
Well, no, he is a racist. He's white.
Yes. Exactly.
Did you know that automatically makes you racist?
That's what they try to say. That's why they try to say.
It's true. I mean, I don't want to argue with the facts.
Yes, of course. My son, actually, about a half an hour from now, we have to go do our cross burning. I just wanted to tell you right now.
You got to go out there. You got to put the white robes on. You're going to be running around. It's just going to be the great thing. You've got the horses. You're going to be riding around on the horses.
Yes, of course.
Just coming through, throwing matches on the thing. Yeah, it's this whole thing.
I've got some other audio I want to share with you. The Paris Climate Accord. Now, dude. Donald Trump, and I'm going to tell you, the more that he does shit like this, the more I like the guy. He rejected the Paris Climate Accord because it's a fucking joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. And like NATO, and like the United Nations, and like TPP, what happens is the American government, the American taxpayer, ends up having to pay for it. And he said, fuck you, we're not going to do it.
And we're not just paying for it in money. We're paying for it in jobs as well. 1.1 million jobs would have been lost. Because here's what happens. And let me just break this down.
Yes,
okay?
sir. Go.
Here's what happens, okay? And this is the same argument with globalism and everything like that. If you let the free market naturally do things, like if you're going to let the free market naturally cycle its way into alternative energy, then we wouldn't lose jobs because the jobs in the coal industry and everything would naturally cycle their way over to alternative energy. But when you force it and you say as a government, okay, now we're getting rid of these jobs, we're changing automatically, then you've got all of these people out of work where the new industries don't have the capacity to hire all of these new people. So you lose jobs.
You have to perfect the technology.
Yeah, and you have to have a market and an industry that's big enough to hold jobs for all of these people. Otherwise, you're just eliminating jobs. Now, I get it. Like, I know how climate change works. There's CO2 in the atmosphere, right? Natural cycles pump CO2 in the atmosphere. So do we.
Yes.
Every spring, the Earth inhales,
Hold
inhales
on.
CO2.
Hold
Some
on.
CO2 is left
Here
in
you
the
go.
atmosphere,
Hold
and that's
on,
what causes
I'm
the warming.
releasing a little CO2. Hold on. Oh, there you go. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but if there's too much CO2 left in the atmosphere, I get it. It causes a warming, and you can push it over the top. I get that global warming is a thing. I get that there's climate change. But I don't think that we should be putting in place where the United States, already countries like India have said they're not going to participate in a carbon tax. It's just the United States and cuck Europe. And what the fuck is Europe going to do?
Socialism.
Oh, yes, of course, we'll do something, of course. It's like they're not contributing.
Dude, it's socialism. It is about bringing down the boats of the successful countries in the world and not raising the ones who are unsuccessful. It's bullshit, dude. It's bullshit. And I heard the mayor of and what the hell was it? Some Florida community on the beach, and he's talking about how the streets are flooding. Really, are they? Are they in Ocean City, Maryland, where you used to hang out? Are they in Dewey Beach in Delaware? Are they in New Jersey? No, bullshit. It's not happening. It's a load of shit. The ocean rises. The ocean levels are not rising. It's a pile of shit. It's not happening. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's definitely some warming.
Because no. Where?
Okay, so essentially I'm sure you've heard that there's more ice than ever in the Arctic, right? The reason that that's happening is because ice is melting at a rapid rate, and fresh water freezes quicker than salt water, so it's refreezing thinner than before. So you're getting a more ice, but it's thinner ice because it's refreezing faster. So I mean, you're getting some warming. What's going on
Mars?
Huh?
What's going on Mars?
It's not going to be
the same effing thing. It's the same effing thing on Mars.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Because of solar
warming,
activity.
It's not going to be prevented by the Paris Climate Accord is the point I'm making, right? Now, Mars has a lot of frozen CO2. They're thinking of ways they can unfreeze that. They can put a magnet, just essentially a giant magnet between the sun and Mars, and they can unfreeze that and create an atmosphere.
Stupid,
but yeah.
That is, no, it's bullshit. Whenever we see an expansion of the polar regions on Mars, the same thing happens on the Earth. It's bullshit. I'm not saying that
Mars doesn't have an atmosphere, though, so that's the
issue. When you look at the ground level of Mars, it is equivalent to 100,000 feet on Earth.
But there's no atmosphere. I think a better comparison would be Venus. Venus actually has such a high CO2 content in their atmosphere that it's uninhabitable. And that's from all the volcanic eruptions that occurred when Venus was created as a planet. They actually speculate that Venus probably used to be a habitable planet until all of the volcanic eruptions caused the CO2 content in the atmosphere to increase. I think we need to do something about it, but I don't think the Paris climate deal is the right thing to do.
No, and I'll tell you, nobody on my side of the political equation says that we want dirty water and shitty air. It just doesn't happen. This is an excuse used by the left to go after countries socialistically to lower the boats of those who are successful and raise the boats who are not. That's what it's all about. It's BS. Anyway, let's move on to some other stuff here. I think I've got some other audio that might be interesting to you.
Well, did you want to go over Trump's response to the Paris Climate Accord, or?
Yes, I have the audio. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me find it. Hold on, my friend. Here it is. Hold on.
Because I thought this was a great speech.
Every day.
Oh, hold on. Here it is. Hold on. Here's Mr. Trump.
Okay.
Go.
I am fighting every day for the great people of this country. Therefore, in order to fulfill my solemn duty to protect America and its citizens,
He said duty.
the United States will withdraw
Come on.
from the Paris Climate Accord. Thank you.
I'm not thinking anybody from MSNBC or CBS are applauding there.
But
No.
begin negotiations to re-enter
Hold on.
either the Paris Accord or in really entirely new transaction on terms that are fair to the United States, its businesses, its workers,
Thank you.
its people, its taxpayers.
Yes.
So we're getting out. But we will start to negotiate, and we will see if we can make a deal that's fair. And if we can, that's great.
Like NATO, like the United Nations, we always get effed. We always get effed. We are the big money. We take care of the, we carry, like NATO the other day. Did you see him talking to the NATO countries? We have 3% of our GDP going toward defense. The NATO countries involved in it, not even 1%.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great that this guy's going, he's like, nah, you know what? You've kind of screwed us on NATO and the UN and on TPP and all of this stuff. We're going to go ahead and say screw you on this until it's fair for us.
Yeah,
So.
I like that we're having that mentality of what's fair for the United States rather than what's fair for the rest of the world. It's not about the world, right? It's about the United States. It's about our citizens. Donald Trump ran on America first. Yeah. And I really like that his liberal ass Ivanka and Jared Kushner, who I think should just get their asses out of the White House. He's never going to fire them, though, because they're kiss asses. They are so liberal on every issue. It's just like every time Trump's about to make a conservative decision, they just rush in. No, that's bad. It's going to be bad. Like the Paris Climate Accord. They wanted him to stay in it. They were advising him to stay in it.
I think you're giving Jared Kushner more credit than he deserves.
He was pushing for it pretty hard.
You say that. I don't know.
You don't think he was?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know. Here's Rand Paul talking about the agreement. Hold on.
You wouldn't lose 6 million American jobs. I think one of the reasons President Trump was elected is that he promised that he would defend the American worker and defend American jobs. There are estimates that this agreement, which is unfair and punishes America in a much greater fashion than other countries, that we would lose 6.5 million jobs.
It always does.
Meanwhile, countries like India and countries like Iran, we would have to pay them to reduce their carbon emissions. I can't imagine a worse agreement than this thing for the American worker. But I think this is something that President Trump promised the voters. He was going to keep American jobs here, and he wasn't going to sign crazy agreements that don't have our best interest at heart.
I agree. We always end up carrying the load of the world because we are more successful, because we figured it out. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Go.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, I pretty much said what I wanted to say about that. He did a good job of sticking to his guns, doing what he promised he would do, and I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy that he stuck what he was going to do. I was worried for a little bit when there were some rumors going around that he was going to stay. And I'm thinking, because there's a lot of stuff that he's done so far that I think are, that I'm not really happy with. I mean, healthcare isn't done. Taxes, not even, hardly getting started on taxes.
I get you.
It's just like nothing is happening. And so I'm really glad at least the stuff that he's doing are big things like the Paris Climate Accord, but the wall. Now they're saying the wall may not even happen.
You don't need it, Dylan.
No, but it's not about needing it or not. It's about he promised that he would do it.
Dylan.
The number of refugees coming into the country increased last month by like 20% or something like that. I mean, it's just he's not doing the job that he said he was going to do.
But overall, and I don't know where this new statistic came up, but overall illegal entrance in the United States has decreased by 70% as of
No. I was saying
month.
refugees increasing.
Okay, but as far as over the border crossing from Mexico, down 70%. Why do we need to have the wall if it's the policy is that powerful?
Well, the reason we need the wall is because that was the basis of his entire campaign was I'm going to build a wall. Mexico's going to pay for the wall. If he doesn't get the wall, I don't think he can win in 2020. That's just my honest opinion. I don't think that when you make a promise that big, you have your fans chanting, build that wall at your events.
Yeah.
And then you don't do it. I think, healthcare, he can maybe get away with that. taxes, he can maybe get away with that. But the wall, it's like that's the one issue that he promised the hardest.
I get you.
And Mexico's not paying for it. That's not happening. So now, not only is Mexico not paying for it, but we're not even getting a wall.
But you have illegal immigration over the border cut by 70%. We don't need the wall. We don't need the wall.
I'm happy about that.
We don't need the wall.
And the wall, see, not only for Trump, but let's think futuristically here.
Yes, sir.
Maybe under Trump, the immigration's down. But what happens in 4 to 8 years when a crazy radical leftist takes over and we don't have anything on the border to prevent it then? Then the numbers will start going back up. I mean, the wall is important for preventing illegal immigration down the road as well.
I gotcha. Got some more audio. This is Rand Paul talking a little bit more about global warming. All right. Now, I know we've kind of swayed into the wall thing, but back to the Paris Climate Accord. Here is Mr. Rand Paul talking about it. Hold on.
Why did we change the name from global warming to climate change?
Thank you.
Because there's some uncertainty now whether it's getting warmer or colder. And I can tell you, if you look at the details of the modeling and the projections in the last 15 years, they've been altered almost every year because their modeling doesn't add up.
I love
all
this.
of these people saying we're going to have 100-foot rise in our seas in the next 100 years. That kind of alarmism is not scientific. And actually, if you read many of the people who do want to control pollution, they will tell you that that's nonsense. And so 100-foot rise in the seas in 100 years, the seas are 300 feet higher now than they were when man came across the Bering Straits. But that took thousands and thousands of years.
But
so
I'm just trying to get a straight answer on this.
I love listening to Rand Paul.
Yeah.
I do. Rand Paul had some, I think, great comments on the Paris Accord and what a load of crap it is. And like I said, you are a 21-year-old dude, so maybe you are more concerned. I've been on the planet for 51 years. We had really hot years when I was a little kid in the 1970s. We've had nothing compared to what I experienced when I was a little kid as far as hot and cold versus now. And so I'm not concerned. To me, the Paris Climate Accord is purely political.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like here's my issue. Like climate change has turned into a political thing rather than just a factual thing. It's turned into like fear mongering and just forcing you to believe it. If you want someone to accept climate change and admit, like if you want to make change, you have to incentivize people to do it, right? Now, yes, there's warming occurring. Yes, the permafrost is freezing, causing more CO2 to go up. It's a slippery slope, but the way to fix it is to not look at these people who aren't accepting it and say, you idiot, if you don't believe this, you're just trying to kill everybody, you're racist, you're whatever. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to say, listen, this is what's happening. You don't have to accept it, but this is what's happening. And we want to incentivize the free market to make changes.
Are you struggling to breathe every day?
Well, it's not about that.
No. You say there's increased CO2. Are you struggling to breathe?
It's not increased to a point of where it's going to affect. It's a long-term effect, right? So
whatever. Whatever. It's not harder for me to breathe. It's the same as I was when I was a kid. There is no difference. I can breathe.
Well, the breathing. I don't
fine.
think the breathing. We're adding. So every spring, again, the natural cycles inhale the CO2, right? It's a natural cycle. It's supposed to work that way because the sun doesn't heat the earth, right? The sun heats the ground and then reflects back up. And what the CO2 prevents all of the heat from leaving. Some heat leaves, some heat stays in because of the CO2. And that's because of the natural cycles. But if we're adding more CO2 to the atmosphere, then more heat is going to be kept in than before. So
it's not warmer than it was yet 20 years.
Well, it's not going to be temperature changes like for us. It's more you're going to see it in terms of like the ice caps and things like that.
Hold on,
and
I'm going to release a little more. Oh, there we go. That was good. Let's talk about other stuff.
Okay.
You disagree with me on the CO2 thing?
Yeah, I do. I think that there is climate change. Yeah, I do believe in climate change.
Do you really?
I do. Yeah, no, well, I don't believe that it's as urgent and that there's going to be this tsunami that comes out, but I think that down the road there definitely is going to be a problem if we keep doing what we're doing.
Now listen, but dude, when I was growing up, in the little kid in the 70s, which is 100 years ago for you, we made major changes as far as the stewardship of the planet. We've done amazing things, dude. You have no idea. It used to be, we didn't give a shit in the 60s, 70s. Nobody gave a shit about the atmosphere polluting, throwing stuff out of your window, you're in your car, whatever. We have had a gigantic bellwether shift with regard to the stewardship of the planet. You don't know this yet, Dylan, but it really has.
Yeah.
It really has. I'm tired of the panic mongering, and I'm tired of when they tie it into a political movement that essentially ties the hands of successful countries like the United States in favor of countries that are not. They are generally poorly managed, and it is essentially meant to raise their boats while it makes us suffer more, because there is a perception that you and I have eaten too much, you and I have burned too much, you and I have driven nice cars, and I think it's a load of crap. So I think things have changed. So I understand where you're coming from. Don't get me wrong. I understand where you're coming from. But I just think that it is a political movement, not necessarily a environmental movement.
Well, no, that's what I said earlier. No, I think that definitely, like, and this is the problem I have with parties and people, because they stick so heavily to their side that they refuse to look objectively at things. It's like we'll do the R's agree with this issue. Well, then I agree with the issue. It doesn't matter what the facts are behind the issue. It's just what that side agrees with, and that's what bothers me. When it comes to climate change, again, don't think I think it's definitely a problem, but I don't think that it's going to kill us all in 5 years like they're predicting. But I think that definitely we need to start taking steps. The free market, not the government, but the free market needs to start taking steps, as well as China, everything like that. I think there needs to be a change at some point, which I think will happen.
All right, let's talk about other stuff. I think we can agree with regard to Huma Abedin deciding to go back with Anthony and Weiner. What the fudge is going on there, dude? He's sexting a 15-year-old, and he has no political collateral. Why would she go back with him?
Yeah, I don't know. The love is strong. I wish I could find a relationship that's that committed.
I think he's got a really large penis. I think there's something going on there. There's something.
The sex must be really good, because there's no reason he's coming back. He must be able to lift her knees behind the ears and just rod her so hard if she is coming back for more of that. I mean, there's no way that this is just as a personality thing.
There is, honestly, and this man has done everything you could do to F up a relationship, and she has decided to go back with him. I'm like, and I've seen the pictures. I mean, obviously he's pretty well endowed. Is that enough? Is that enough?
How do you feel? How must you feel as a woman to have your husband not be satisfied with your approval? He needs the approval of a 15-year-old girl for his penis. That's what he needs. How must you feel? How low must you feel for you to come? Oh, it's just terrible.
I think it's hilarious. And I don't understand. I could see Hillary Clinton staying with Bill Clinton. It's politically expedient for her. He was a playa. He obviously meant a lot to her political her success, but Anthony Weiner has got nothing, but she's sticking with him. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Anything else you've got to talk about, my friend?
I do want to talk about the London terror attack.
Please do.
Because that's kind of big in the news right now. So we've got another one.
I've led the discussion for a while. You're on. Go.
Well, we've got the religion of peace, right?
Yes, of course.
Coming back again. And I don't even want to talk about this terrorist attack in particular.
Yeah.
I mean, it was terrible. People died. I want to take a step back and ask the people. At what point are we going to transition from pray for this, which I find it funny, atheist liberals wanting to pray for blank.
I know.
But praying for a country and praying for an attack. When are we going to transition from that to actual solutions? When is the mayor going to stop saying there's no need for actual panic? When are they actually going to start doing things? It's
Dylan,
funny,
Dylan, I'm so damn tired of the waking up the next day and praying for the victims. Bullshit.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's like,
Bullshit.
what would if you
God
don't
dang
want
it.
if you don't want these victims, stop taking in the refugees. Realize that the problem is radical Islam and deal with it. I mean, that's the only way. It's funny, when Americans died, Trump dropped the mother of all bombs.
Yes.
When people in London dies, the mayor drops a press conference.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like, you're not accomplishing anything. Saying there's no need to panic. There's no need to panic. There are people being run over and stabbed on one of the major bridges in the world, and there's no need to panic. It's fine. No, it's not fine.
Isn't this the second time this has
dying.
happened? Isn't this the second effing time it's happened? In London Bridge, it happened a month ago.
Yeah.
Bullshit. But, I'm not panicked. I'm just pissed. I'm not panicked. I'm pissed. I'm tired of this shit. I'm not panicked, Dylan. I'm not panicked. I just want this shit to stop. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not about being panicked. It's not about being panicked. It's about F you. I'm done with this shit.
Yeah, it's. I'm not. I will say that I'm concerned for American citizens going overseas. It's more concerned, and I think. Huh?
What about here?
Well, but the issue with here is that I think we've actually got, we've got the Second Amendment. We've got better protection against that kind of thing here. Overseas, their police officers don't even have guns.
Yeah.
I mean, you're literally, and it's just been proven that they will stab people. They will use trucks. Yeah. They will use bombs on laptops.
Yeah.
They will do whatever it takes to commit these terrorist attacks. And it's not going to stop until you realize what the problem is and agree to go after it. If the world realized what the problem was and we all said we're going to stop this, it would be ended. And I'm sick of this whole, I'm not even going with the narrative that, there's some peaceful, I don't even care if there's peaceful Muslims, because they're not even stepping up, right? The peaceful Muslims are not stepping. I want to see either Islam change itself to become a better community, or we are going to have to go to war with Islam as the world. The world will have to go to war with Islam because it's not a peaceful religion. They're backwards. They've won 2 Nobel Prizes in the last 70 years. Like, it's just they're a backward society. Their average IQ of a Muslim is so low because they don't incentivize education. They preach
particularly with women.
Muhammad.
Particularly with women, by the way. Particularly with women.
Yeah, well, it's just terrible. And they treat these people like they don't allow them to get a good education because they want them to believe that they teach them their own education, which is terrible. They don't teach them about the world. They don't teach them about mathematics. We use Arabic numbers. The Islamic religion used to be a great religion until they started saying that was the work of the devil, was counting numbers.
Wasn't it Barack Obama? I mean, when you were you were a young guy. But Barack Obama said that, Islam was where mathematics and all of these things, these forward-thinking things came from. And it has done the absolute opposite in the last decade.
Not even decade.
It is a regressive faith right now.
I love that argument that, Islam they were thousands of years ago. They were the pinnacle of arithmetic. They were the pinnacle of everything.
Yes.
And then obviously something happened to where now they're still flinging shit at other people, and the rest of the world has moved on.
Yeah.
It's time that the religion wakes up and has a reformation, just like the Christian religion did, just like all of these other religions did. Have a reformation, reform your religion, get rid of this radical aspect of it, and then people will not criticize. People are like, why did they criticize me? Because you're blowing up buildings.
Yeah.
What do you expect us to do? How are we not supposed to be scared of you when you come on the plane? The famous Ron White joke. You have the basket of snakes and it takes 7 loads of phlegm to pronounce your name. How do you expect people not to be afraid of you when your people are blowing things up?
Yeah, and
it
you
just
look
makes
at
no sense.
The month of Ramadan, and realize we have a small planet. But in the month of Ramadan, 148 people have been blown to smithereens. In the name of Islam, hundreds have been injured dramatically. Now, realizing again is a small segment when you deal with 6 billion people on the planet, but I don't see the Buddhists doing that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Dylan, give me an update. Are the Buddhists blowing the shit out of people during Ramadan? Just real quick.
I have not seen a Buddhist so much
You've
as
not.
slap somebody, or a Hindu. I mean, you
No.
do not see these people
No.
doing anything.
I know.
It's not happening.
No, it's not. Yeah, honestly, it is. If my faith, Christian or Catholic, we're committing 3,000 acts of terror annually around the world, I would question what the fudge is going on with my faith.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when we look at Islam and we hear it's a religion of peace. No, it's not a fucking religion of peace. It's not a religion of peace. It's not. And the time that the peaceful Muslims stepped up is way past. They've got to step up. They've got to say, this has to end. You are tainting our faith. And in the meantime, I'm not willing to say that Islam is a religion of peace as someone who was not an Islamist. Sorry.
Well, it's the liberals refuse to admit it. They refuse to look at the facts. They care more about being right about Islam than being alive, right?
Yeah.
They'd rather be dead
Yeah.
because of a terrorist attack than admit that they're wrong about the religion of peace. I mean, it's just that's how crazy it's become at this point. It's an actual threat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gone from, they might hijack a plane once every 12 years to they're fucking 3,000 terrorist attacks a year. And many people, I mean, they say the small percentage, right? 1% of Muslims are terrorists. First of all, 1% of Muslims is a ton. Over 50% of Muslims agree that terrorist attacks are okay for people who don't believe in jihad. If you look at the polls taken in the Middle East, even the peaceful Muslims, it's just insane.
Well, it is when you look at internationally with people who agree that violence is a possibility with regard to forwarding the Muslim faith, 150 million Muslims in the world go, it's okay. And there's a point where we have to go. Islam needs to fix itself as it is right now. It is not a religion of peace. And it is becoming painfully obvious with the entire world. I don't know. I don't know. Let's move on. Do we have other stuff we want to talk about, dude?
I don't have anything unless you have stuff you want to talk about. I think that's about it on my end.
Let me see what else here. Nah. I've got boy. You want to talk about university madness? Now you're a young guy. You're 21 years old.
Yeah.
Some of the university madness that's going on lately is remarkable. Now there was a new chancellor at the University of Missouri, and he has decided to say we need to have an open dialogue with regard to viewpoints, meaning that perhaps maybe conservatives should be heard. Missouri has experienced a 35% decrease in the enrollment because of the shit they went through the last couple of years. If you were going to go to college, Dylan, and you looked at the University of Missouri, and you're a younger dude than I certainly, but would you, when you look at universities and the bullshit that's going on, Evergreen State University, for instance, it's a big story I've been covering. Evergreen State University, I believe it's in Washington State. They had an event they used to do where they would take students of color and they would leave the campus for a day to see how the university was affected. This year, they decided they wanted all white professors to leave the campus. And one professor said no, and he's been charged with a hate crime. Would you be afraid to go to college now, considering your age and what's going on campuses? I'm curious about this.
Well, can I tell you my theory on college?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think, that college is going to be irrelevant in 20 years. I think that if this keeps up, if there's no changes, because here's what's happening, okay? At this point, college is turning into an SJW indoctrination hub. It's no longer about the education like it was. And this has been happening over and over again. And more people are realizing you can be successful without college, especially with the rise of social media and all these jobs. People are realizing that, but it's becoming an indoctrination hub for social justice warriors. And I think that businesses are going to start looking at a college degree and thinking, great, now we're going to have to put the human resources desk at a conveyor belt right next to these college graduates so they can just put their complaints on the thing. I think people are going to start looking at it as I mean, you're essentially paying thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars to have your kid be taught about how a vagina and a penis does not indicate what sex they are. It's just, and that's what's happening. I mean, I remember when I was in college, my psychology teacher, or not my psychology, I'm sorry, my math teacher, I'm sorry, psychology, was talking about sex, like sexes of people, like trans. I was like, this has nothing to do with math.
Thank you.
But it was the entire class. We had to sit down and have a presentation about that. And it's just like, at what, I mean, I honestly believe that in 20 years, if this keeps up, college will be irrelevant. It won't matter if you go to college or not.
I'm going to tell you, Dylan, I would love my son to go to college. And I used to believe, like, I learned some things in college that were very valuable. I learned as a writer, I'm a political satire writer, among other things. And one of the classes I had was poetry, and it taught me some great things about writing. It is not worth 4 years of shit to get.
The thing is,
there.
You can access that kind of information regardless of if you go to college or not. I mean, but the thing is, you have to be willing.
Right.
You have to be willing to teach yourself. And some people need that kind of structure where they say, I have to show up, I have to learn this. But like, I don't need that kind of structure. I am totally fine sitting down with an educational book, reading the whole thing and learning. But some people need that structure. Now, I don't think it's right that society only emphasizes a degree and says, well, if you don't have the degree, then you can't be successful. I don't think that's right. But I think, again, 20 years, that'll be gone.
Well, I think that right now you're looking at college as being high school 2.0.
That's exactly what it is. And what's going to happen is that
I know you don't need I don't think you need to go to college, dude. I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't help me at all.
Well ahead of
But what you're going to see is these upper degrees are going to be the ones that matter. And then you're going to get a new level of college. Like, at some point, we just have to stop this and realize we can't just keep adding layers of college and waiting for the leftists to come indoctrinate or take over that layer. Like, let's figure out a new way that people can learn, people can gain skills, and go from there as a society.
Well,
we did fine as a society before college was invented. I'm sure we can figure something else out.
Well, I did well at college. I really think that about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, were wasted because I'm a broadcaster. The best lessons I learned were largely life lessons. After college, you could teach anybody to push buttons. I will tell you, you need to be able to have something to say when you're on the radio. Does college do that for you? I don't know. You need to learn. You need to be well-rounded. You need to know literature. You need to know how to, I don't know. There's a variety of things. I just don't know if 4 years of college would have made me a better broadcaster. You know?
What I've noticed, and I don't know if you agree with this or not.
Yes, sir.
What I've noticed in terms of radio and broadcasting and things like that.
Yeah.
It's not about how it's you have to know a lot, like you said. You have to know a lot of information, but at the same time, you can't come on all Asperger's and not like today we're gonna do this. I mean, you have to have a personality, and you can't nobody can teach you to have a personality. That's something you develop or you have. Yes. And you develop that with training. Like, if you go back and watch my old videos, I was so fucking boring. It was like, all right, we're gonna talk, and it's just like I didn't know how to do it. Well, and then I've evolved and I've become better at it, more comfortable in front of the camera. And you can't get that sort of experience in a classroom. And it's the same thing. No. Elon Musk actually had a great quote on this. He was talking about how, he's like, well, if you take a college course on repairing an engine, you can't just take a course on repairing the engine. You have to take a course on the screwdriver, and then the nuts and bolts. I said nuts. And then you have to take a course on the parts of the engine, each individual part. Yeah. He's like, why can't we just put an engine in front of a kid with an instructor and show them hands-on, here's how you do it? That's how people learn.
Well, you had mentioned, and we spoke a while back about how there's a comfort level that I have on the microphone, and you were curious about that. That is something that just comes with experience. I feel comfortable behind the mic. I don't think about my audience. You are there. I mean, you're right there. There are some things that cannot be taught in college. They can't be taught in college, brother. You know what, what we're doing right now. What we are doing right now, you and I, just the back and forth, the in and the end, the ebb and the flow, cannot be taught in college.
No.
It's gonna happen or it's not.
Social skills can't be taught. Yeah, no.
All
but
right.
the issue is that you can't. So you're born, like, your IQ is hereditary. It's 80% hereditary, 20% environmental.
Sure.
You can't improve somebody's IQ by shoving information down there and making them take a test. That's not going to happen. If you really want people to be more intelligent, see, it's all about skills. What do you know how to do?
Yep.
If the car breaks down, flat tire, whatever, do you know how to fix that? You can't take a college course and take a test on fixing flat tires and then do it. You have to have experience doing it. And it's the same thing with almost any industry I can think of. You don't graduate from college and just go straight to doing heart surgeries. You have to be an intern. You have to observe other people doing it for countless amounts of hours. You have to be observed by somebody while you're doing it. And it's just, you're in your 40s by the time you're actually able to get in there and know what you're doing. Like,
but even bigger, what you're doing, you can crack a mic and you can talk.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that's worth a shit listening to? Anybody can crack a mic. Anybody can turn on a camera. You, I think, are an interesting person. And you know, this is bigger than just like working at Payless or working at whatever. You have to be able to. I know how to, and by the way, I'm much further advanced technically than you, even though I'm older than you. But you have to be able to, I'm playing with you. You have to be able to crack the mic and say something that people give a shit about. And if you don't, Dylan, you're done. And if you don't, Dylan, you're done.
People realize that they only have a limited time on this great earth.
Yeah.
And to take some of that time and say, I'm going to listen to Rob Carson or Dylan Parentis, that's like huge deal. Like, I think that we should respect the fact that people give a shit. They take time out of their lives to listen to us.
Yeah, man.
Right? I think that's a big deal. You know, now it's kind of normal to just be on the phone all the time now, and people are just on their phone. So it's like, whatever, but it's like people could listen to anything. They could be doing anything at that moment, but they're choosing to listen to us, which I think is really cool.
It is. That's a really big deal. And you know what? Here's the really cool thing. I've been in broadcasting long enough to see the length of our broadcast is now 59:22. So I'm going to peg this out at 60 minutes. We're going to wrap this up at 60 minutes. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Give me real quick. Tell everybody where they can find you on the web, and I'm going to share mine too. Go.
All right. So you can find me on Instagram at 2_savage_4_Democrats, Facebook at 2SavageForDemocrats, YouTube at Dylan's Daily Show or 2SavageForDemocrats. And that's it.
Mine is so easy. It's the Rob Carson Show. iTunes, Facebook, the Rob Carson Show. Dylan, my brother, have a glorious weekend. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.
See you later.
60 minutes.